guys, I'm Jessica Negri, and you're watching the Console Explosion.
Hello and welcome to the Console Explosions Wrestling Podcast, brought to you by a crayon, because that's what they use to write Fastlane pay-per-view outcomes. It's a fucking crayon.
They wish it was a crayon, man. It was sidewalk chalk. Come on.
But nonetheless, my name is Kaztech, always coming from you from the capital of Canada, Ottawa, Ontario, and I'm not brought to you by, I am joined today by...
Awesomeness Prime. You can be brought to you by me. That's cool. I actually kind of like that.
Okay, well, if you're sponsoring me, it's $75 an hour. Love you long, long time. $10.
I don't think I can afford that. Holy shit. Wait, is that $75 an hour Canadian or American?
I'll be nice and we'll put Canadian.
Okay, so that's still like $68 an hour American.
Yeah. So here we are. We're a couple days after Fastlane and the Raw rebound, and let's jump into it, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I guess overall, how'd you do on your outcome? Actually, no, we'll go over it. We'll go over it as we go.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so Fastlane. This is WWE's answer to the Elimination Chamber, because it cost them $250,000 to put the Elimination Chamber in arenas, and they didn't want to do it. So we got Fastlane. And the debut pay-per-view of Fastlane started with a riveting, absolutely fantastic Raw main event of a six-man tag.
Raw, you mean SmackDown main event?
True.
I don't even think they would put that stuff on Raw.
Well, Raw, I guess it wouldn't be a main event. I guess for Raw, it would have been like an opener.
Yeah, or it would have been the mid-show. The mid part of the show, maybe, yeah. Thing. We didn't have a prediction for this one.
No,
because it got announced way later, right?
Yes. But, we kind of talked about that this was probably going to happen, because you cannot have Seth Rollins not on your show. Okay, so sorry about that. Obviously, some issues there, guys. But we're just talking about the six-man tag, and it involved Dolph Ziggler.
Yep.
Mr. Swamp Man himself.
What was that, Eric Rowan?
Eric Rowan, and the big guy.
Ryback. Oh my god.
And of course, they were up against the Authority. Respect my authority.
Yep.
Rollins, Kane, and the Big Show. So take out Luke Harper, insert the Big Show.
Yes. So this match was shit. We didn't have who was gonna win for it, but I'll say this, and I've said it a million times. I'm a huge Kane mark. I watched 97 In Your House live, Hell in a Cell, when he tore the hinges off the cell.
Yeah.
Tombstone Pile drove the Undertaker. Been a fan ever since. Actually, I would even go so far as to say he's probably my favorite of all time, which is funny because I normally gear myself towards the smaller wrestlers, but something about that just perfected the mystique of wrestling to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is 2015. There's no reason Kane and Big Show should be winning any matches together.
No, not at all. I like Kane, but I liked him more as the Demon, not the corporate Demon, not quite the newest one. More of when the See No Evil movie came out.
Yeah, my all-time favorite's just gonna be Silent King in The Mask.
You don't like the "I got 2 words for you"?
Yeah. Suck it. I watched that live too. I was always more into the silent, badass Kane, let other people do the talking for him. I think that worked really well for him.
Mm-hmm.
What didn't work for him was being Isaac Yankem DDS.
Oh, you didn't like the doctor? The bzzz.
Yeah. That was great. Or Fake Diesel.
Oh, Fake Diesel. There you go. That was a winner right there.
Yeah. So, honestly, the only thing I really have to say about the match is it was shitty. There's no reason Big Show and Kane should be winning any matches. That match should have been won by Seth Rollins.
Yep.
And they really like to seem to push Ryback, then stall Ryback, then push Ryback, then stall Ryback.
Kind of like his matches. He goes all out and then stops.
Yeah. Yes.
He gets some energy back and goes all out and then stops.
He rushes, gets blown up, rushes again.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this. You knew Seth Rollins was going to win this. So, yeah, it wasn't a great opener. It didn't get the fans too excited, but neither did the kickoff show. Well, I didn't quite see the full kickoff show with Paul Heyman and Miz. I think they needed to have Brock Lesnar a part of it to really make it more menacing, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was, and honestly, that Memphis crowd was just not into it, dude.
Yeah.
That crowd was just shit.
Well, shit crowd for a shit pay-per-view. The only, I guess, yeah, and you know what? Even the return of the Viper.
Yeah, okay, that's right. That ended that six-man, right?
Yep.
And then the big guy Ryback, Eric Rowan, and Dolph Ziggler instantly look weaker than Randy Orton.
Yeah. No, what made someone look weaker was Seth Rollins running.
Oh my god, I'm so sick of that coward heel thing. It's like they have no other fucking trick in their bag except for the because you remember when Bryan had the WHC, the World Heavyweight Championship?
Yep.
A few years back, and he was a heel?
Yep.
And all he did was run away?
Yep.
Why are they doing that again?
Guy.
Yeah, they're doing it again with Seth Rollins, and it's just aggravating.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I wasn't too pleased with it. I thought it was a shitty end to somewhat, a 3-star match out of 5 or out of 10.
Oh, I was not into that match.
Yeah, and I wasn't into Randy Orton's return.
Nah, me neither. But he did come back with a head of steam, though. Like, that was... But we'll get to that later. Okay. I'm going to try not say that as much as possible.
We'll get through one episode without saying that, folks, I promise you.
One day, damn it. One day.
Next up was Stardust versus Goldust.
For a match that had the... Oh, well, first of all, I think I had Stardust winning, but I was wrong.
Yeah.
By something...
No, you had Goldie winning. I had Stardust winning by blowing shit in his eyes, remember?
Oh, right, yeah. So I had Goldust winning. So I was right about that one, but...
Mm-hmm. I was wrong. But I will stand by. I thought it was a botch.
It seemed like it, right? But I think this match was just meant to build to their feud at Mania.
Yeah.
And it seems like their whole feud's just going to seriously beat Dustin Rhodes versus Stardust and beat him so bad that he becomes Cody again, or I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. But for a match that had the potential to be seriously the best match of the night, it was disappointing as hell.
Mm-hmm. It was more of a... It just... Psychology wasn't quite there.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, and the outcome, yeah, the interaction with the American Dream, yeah,
Dusty.
Yeah, and just the fighting again with Stardust hitting Goldust in the back throwing him against the thing and him just selling it. It was just like, meh.
Yeah.
Meh.
But though Stardust did cut a pretty good promo
He did.
at the very end there. But that's the thing about Cody Rhodes, is I would say he's probably one of the most underrated wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Good on the mic, good in the ring. Whenever you give him time, he's one of the best.
Yes.
He really is.
Mm-hmm. And no slighting. Sorry, go ahead.
This is why like WCW needs to exist again, so guys like him can go somewhere else.
Yes. Have some leverage.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I was wrong. You did pick Stardust as well, so.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I had Stardust to win. Yeah, because I thought it was going to be Stardust and Goldust and Stardust, but
Mm-hmm.
either way, it wasn't compelling.
Yeah. I'd have to give that match. It was better than the 6-man. I'm glad it wasn't the opener though, because I really don't think I think it would have lost the crowd quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think Dust, the American Dream, should have been involved more in the ring and not in the back.
I agree.
It just felt like a Raw to me, with how this was set up was, but the 6-man tag with Seth Rollins running out, with Stardust and Goldust interaction with Dusty beginning and after. It just felt like Raw.
Yeah, it wasn't good. By no means was the start of this event good.
No. So I'd have to give this one. It was a 5. It was a solid 5, but
Yeah.
you know, it could have been a lot better. I hope their next matchup is going to be a hell of a lot better, but we'll see.
Me too. And for being in such a marked territory that Tennessee is in general, Memphis and Nashville, the crowd was just not into it. Like, obviously, they did exactly what the WWE likes those territories to do. They cheered for the good guy, booed the bad guy.
Yep. It wasn't like when they come to Canada and they boo the shit out of John Cena and everyone. That's a baby.
I love the shit out of Canada for that. I love it. Whenever I hear it's like Raw in Ontario tonight, I'm like, fuck yeah!
Yeah, pretty sure Canada's the one that started the Cena sucks thing.
I'm pretty sure they're the ones that started You Can't Wrestle as well.
Yeah, Canada starts everything because we have stars up here.
Yeah, because you have fucking like Bret Hart and Lance Storm. And
Speaking of stars, what would you give the Stardust Goldust match out of 10?
4.5 out of 10.
Oof. All right. Next
It
up,
just didn't. It did nothing for me.
it did nothing. Yeah.
Oh.
So next up, Tyson Kidd or the Swiss Kid versus the Usos for the WWE Tag Team Championships.
Match of the night.
Match of the night. I have to agree with you.
It was good. It told a good story. We got that one-legged giant swing from Cesaro. I don't remember who I had winning.
You have the Swiss Kid winning.
Okay, good. Then I'm happy.
Yeah, and you were right. I picked the Usos. So that just means the Usos are going to pick the titles up at WrestleMania.
Yeah, because they used the rematch clause on Raw, and Natalya finally fully healed turn and ruined the rematch.
Yeah. So we actually will probably end up getting a 6-person tag at WrestleMania then.
If she's not legit hurt, because she actually took a bump, and the doctor was over there, and they ripped her boot off real quick.
Yeah, I saw that.
But
we'll get to Raw.
Yeah, okay. You didn't say it. Good job. We'll get to Raw. No, I thought the match was great, though. I honestly think Cesaro and Tyson Kidd work fucking really well together.
They're a great team. They have very good chemistry with each other, for sure.
They do. And, that whole team, because I call all three of them a team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Natalya, Cesaro, and Kid. That's talent right there. I mean, Natalya is a great, great wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Kid as well. And Cesaro, even though we don't get to hear it that often, is pretty great on the mic, as well as being as good as he is as a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And just a freak of nature.
Yes.
That dude is really freakishly strong.
Mm-hmm. You know, but Cesaro's one of those guys that I like to call a usable tank. You can put him in any, and team him with anybody, and they become a legit threat as a tag team.
Yeah.
You put him with Kid. I mean, on paper, let's look at it. Jack Swagger and Cesaro. Yeah. But they turned out pretty good. They could have had a run for the tag team titles, but Cesaro looked good. He made Jack Swagger look good too.
He did.
You know, as that group, Cesaro and Kid on paper, that's not going to work.
But together,
Kid has no chemistry. People don't like him. You know, but then you watch them, and it's holy shit.
And is it just me, or has Kid picked up a bit more chemistry? Like, he's doing more as a heel than he ever did as a smiling babyface.
Oh, he's way better as a heel.
Yeah, like when the Hart Dynasty first showed up.
Mm-hmm.
With him and Davey Boy's son.
Yep, D.W. Smith. It's a shame that D.W. Smith didn't stick around, but you could never make him a heel and believe it.
No, D.W. Smith would have never worked as a heel.
He has that face, that smiling face that you're just like, you're never going to be a mean guy, are you?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, I could never see you being an angry human being.
Mm-hmm. You're just so likable. I just want to just hug you and pinch your little cheeks.
Right. Can you carry me? You look like you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
But Tyson Kidd, and I like Natalya as a heel.
Yep.
I like that whole scenario. But, I mean, credit where credit's due. The Usos, they get a lot of shit, but they always work hard.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
I mean, I can do without their Samoan mantra war dance at the beginning every time. And, okay, we get it. That's over with the kids and stuff. That's cool, and it's fun to scream. But they always, I think, put on a damn good match. And Cameron? Is that Cameron or Naomi?
Naomi. Cameron's the one that can't do shit.
Yes, but Naomi's actually super athletic, too.
Yep.
And good in the ring.
The running hurricanrana.
Yeah, she does.
Pull that out a couple times, and it's like, holy shit, that's legit.
She's also done. She also back in the day in like FCW used to pull out the split leg moonsault.
Yes, and she's an NXT girl from our NXT.
Oh yeah, she is.
From our NXT conversations about the women's only one. So yeah, I think all of them, all three of them, solid.
And to even say that's match of the night, right? And I would still probably give that a 7.5 out of 10.
I'd have to give it a 7.5 out of 10 as well. I was wrong. I said the Usos were going to win. But like I said, I think it's going to lead to a rematch to WrestleMania or a 6-person intergender tag. We'll see.
I hope for the intergender, just because I'd like to see Natalya and Cameron get in there and mix it up.
Mm-hmm. We'll see how that goes. I'm not doing too well in this pay-per-view. I'm technically over 2 in the beginning here. It's not bad. I went from 100% to almost 0 now. So let's continue on. I guess this one will be quick because it was Sting and Triple H.
Okay, Triple H talked.
And
Sting came out and talked and talked. Sting came out.
And he still
Triple
talked.
H tried to offer him money. Sting didn't take it. Triple H attacks Sting. Goes to get the sledgehammer. Sting gets the baseball bat. They're going to face each other at WrestleMania, which we all knew was going to happen, but the way they're selling Sting is fucking genius.
Yes.
This is WCW 1997, 1998 Sting.
Yes.
This is in the rafters, comes down, picks up DDP, hooks him to the fucking rope, and tears ass up into the rafters. Right?
Yep.
Great. That's probably one of my favorite WCW moments.
Yeah. The silent Sting. You don't need him to talk, and this is probably what is just eating up Kevin Dunn and everyone, and that's a WWE guy, is in order to be over, you have to be able to speak on the microphone.
Fuck. Yeah, you would think that, but Sting, man.
The longest career without saying a word
Right?
can be the most popular person in the WWE.
And
WCW. Like, it's just amazing.
And he's super over with the crowd right now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a fucking kid again. I'm super just like, yeah, fuck yeah, Sting, get the baseball bat, let's do this.
Yeah. It's too bad that Sting wasn't around for the WrestleMania in Atlanta.
Oh my god.
And that's where I think the WWE dropped the ball big time. And I know they wanted to do some things, but they weren't able to. If they were to hold the WrestleMania in Atlanta, have Sting come back, induct him into the WWE Hall of Fame, induct Goldberg into the WWE Hall of Fame. Hate to say it, Scott Steiner, WCW cornerstone people.
Wait,
right?
You hate to say that? I thought you were afraid of Scott Steiner.
Oh, I am, but I mean, I think he'd agree with me that he wouldn't want to be in it, but, but, and Diamond Dallas Page, those four WCW guys through and through, would have been a good induction to the Hall of Fame, WCW type style in Atlanta where WCW was based. Would have been great.
Well, I think a really good idea for them to do would actually just be almost like an all WCW Hall of Fame induction ceremony kind of thing. If they did Atlanta, induct the NWO as a group.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely Sting. Definitely DDP.
I'd have to say Goldberg.
Yeah, definitely Goldberg. Yeah, I completely agree. Those dudes were cornerstone moments. Like, DDP was so over at 38 years old, 39 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And when Sting and him were going to team up for fighting the NWO and WCW, that was one of those moments where it's like, oh my god, they're going to win, right? It was just like, mark out moment.
Mm-hmm, exactly. The other people that should be inducted, but probably wouldn't, would be Eric Bischoff.
Bischoff deserves it.
And Ted Turner as your celebrity.
Yeah, I think that would be really funny to induct Ted Turner. I also think that it could be seen as one of two things. Like, hey, go fuck yourself, Ted Turner, or hey, now that this is over, we have respect for the fact that you elevated the business to another level.
Without Ted Turner, the WWE would not be where it's at today.
Well, I know. They had TBS Superstation for a while.
Yeah,
and then,
I mean, just think about it. Without the competition of WCW, WWE would probably not be as popular. There would have been no wrestling renaissance as there was in the 90s, and we wouldn't be here chatting about Fastlane.
No, we wouldn't. WCW might still exist.
Yeah. Well, no, if WCW never came about, the WWE
never came
would
about
never
that
be around would today.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, it wouldn't have made it past the 90s with its failing audience.
Mm-hmm.
And doing the same old shit.
Exactly. It just we wouldn't have the renaissance that it did if it wasn't for WCW. And, I could put that on my gravestone. But Vince McMahon knows deep down that it was up to Ted Turner, but that's who I would love to have in there.
I agree.
There's another person that's well deserving for that time. but he's not a WCW guy. He was a WWE guy through and through. But that's the former president of WWE or WWF, Jack Tully.
Oh yeah.
You know, I saw a thing on Facebook or on Twitter. JBL mentioned Jack Tully, and it was trending, and everyone's like, "Bring Tully back, bring him back." Well, he's dead. He's been dead since like '94. People, he's been dead for 10 years.
Yeah, it's like 94, 95.
And the sad thing is that no WWF or WWE personnel were at his funeral.
That is some bullshit.
He's a Canadian. He looked after the Canadian operations for the WWE. He helped them out in these territories. He passed away, and there's no recognition for him. It's sad.
Yeah, that is actually super sad. He really does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, I was happy to see Stu Hart, the Hart family, get inducted to the Hall of Fame, right? So Stu.
Yep.
I didn't know if that was going to ever happen.
Yeah.
Simply because, and I mean, that's another thing. Like, WWF in that early 90s owes most of their great wrestlers to that. Dynamite Kid, British Bulldog, Bret Hart, to Stampede.
Yep. Andre the Giant.
Yes, it was fucking Stu Hart was the one that brought him to America out of Japan.
Yep. And he wrestled an awesome match against a young Bret Hart in Stampede Wrestling, and it's just one of the most amazing matches ever.
It was probably Andre's best match ever.
Yeah, it was great.
Look at it. But I mean, and that was the thing about Bret, though. He could always propel people to have great matches. But I mean, Stu was the one that told Andre to act like a giant.
Yep.
Because Andre the Giant used to do drop kicks and go to the top rope and do elbow drops and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Stu Hart was like, "You need to stop doing that. This is how this is going to work now.
Yeah.
You're going to act like a giant, and everybody's going to be scared of you, or you're going to be a babyface giant, and everybody's going to love you."
Yep.
Okay, we got off topic there a little bit.
We did, but you know what? It's what happens.
Yeah, it is.
So pretty much we've said what we wanted to say about the Sting Triple H thing. It was good to see. Yeah, I'm sold on it as well. I thought it was a great interaction. But I would have loved to see Sting versus The Rock instead.
If this was 2002, I would mark the shit out over that.
I would love to see the two real cornerstones of the WWE go at it, because Austin can't. So the next one would be The Rock.
Yeah. And
if it's not The Rock, then it's The Undertaker. But there's no mysticism behind The Undertaker anymore in WrestleMania. So,
oh my God.
I wouldn't even put Triple H in that point yet. It just, Triple H, I hate you. But anyways,
yeah, I have such a love-hate relationship for Triple H. Like, he's got this huge ego, but at the same time, NXT is his baby. You know what I mean? So it's like, I love myself, but I am going to help these younger talent, and then Vince McMahon just fucking hates that. It's so fun.
But yet again, NXT is 100% Triple H's brainchild, but I mean, let's think about it. He took the whole idea and everything right out of Paul Heyman, right? That's what Paul Heyman wanted the new ECW to be, is exactly what NXT is.
Oh, of course, but I mean, of course.
That's what he wanted. He wanted young talent to do this type of show, to have older people put over the newer people, to be sort of the next up-and-comers to the the main roster. It didn't happen that way. I mean, his way.
Yeah, if we're taught, when it comes down to it, if anybody in wrestling history is more than willing to put over and can spot new talent, is it anybody other than Paul Heyman?
Jim Cornette. If it wasn't for Cornette, there'd be no Lance Storm or Jericho.
That's true. Cornette's a funny dude too, just like Heyman.
But no, let's hop back onto the fast lane, because we obviously went on the shoulder here for a little bit.
Okay. The shit lane.
The shit lane. The Divas Championship. Yep. Okay, so we're back onto it. The Divas Championship. Nikki Bella versus Paige.
Lex Boober.
Lex Boober.
I just can't get over that. She uses the forearm and the fucking torture rack.
And is a narcissist.
She totally is, right?
A narcissist, yeah.
She is the next Lex Luger, which I don't know if she should be proud of that. I think John Cena might be in for it, though.
Oh, well.
I have no real hate for John Cena. I have to admit that. I don't hate him that much, or at all, really.
Or at all. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
I'm bored with him.
We'll get to that later. Let's stay on track. Nikki Bella versus Paige. I thought it was a great match. I thought Paige did really well. The ending was just exactly what I thought it was going to be. Bingo bango. Yep, bingo bango. Okay.
Yeah,
I was correct.
I went with my hope.
Yep.
I want Paige to have that title. So, there's few people that are going to be able to legitimize the Divas title again, and it's Paige, AJ, and Natalya at this point. And Cameron.
I wouldn't mind to say even Alicia Fox. I like her work in the ring. I think she's very good.
You are correct. I forgot about Alicia Fox because she's so rarely used.
Mm-hmm. But she's good in the ring. She does very good work. Her and Paige have had some good matches. It would be nice to see Rosa Mendez get a chance.
Yeah.
Not in this shittiness way, but to give her a chance to be a wrestler and show her what she can do.
I agree, actually. Yeah, I don't even. Could I give that a Divas match out of 10?
Yep. And I will give it a 4 out of 10. It was good, but it wasn't great. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't mind-blowing. It was like every other interaction they've had.
Yeah, it was no Trish Stratus versus Lita at the end of Raw.
No.
Trish Stratus, that's another Canadian.
Yep. Keep them coming. That list is just getting bigger.
I agree. I haven't. Canadians, man. You fucking Canadians.
So next up, we're just going to hop into the Bad News Barrett versus Ambrose.
Right. For the IC title. You know what? I'm an Ambrose mark. I'll admit it. And I like Barrett too. I like B&B.
Yeah.
I've actually liked Barrett since, Nexus. But Barrett's super injury prone.
Yep.
But I think it's kind of funny. The match was okay. It was mostly Barrett running away from Ambrose.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, fucking cowardly heel.
Yep.
Stupid. And he runs away from Ambrose. Ambrose pulls him back into the ring, gets DQ'd, right?
Yep.
Steals the title, which Ambrose has a stealing problem.
Yep.
Because he also stole Rollins' Money in the Bank.
Yep.
And walks off with it.
Yeah.
5 out of 10? I mean...
Yeah.
The parts where they actually wrestled one another were cool.
Yep. I'd have to give it out a 6. I think it was good. I think there was a good storyline for it. The ending was just a bit off. It just felt weird. Like it didn't quite click. And then for him to walk off with the title and to be DQ'd the way he did, they could have did it better, I think.
Yeah, the beatdown was really interesting the way they did that. But here's the funny thing is, again, I said I'm an Ambrose mark. I think he's the best member of the Shield.
You think so?
Yeah, all around. I love Rollins, and Rollins is great in the ring, but I think Ambrose is great on the mic, great on the ring, and he connects with people.
Yeah. I like Seth Rollins' work. John Moxley, on the other hand, he's okay. He's got some demons.
You pull out the John Moxley.
He's got some demons when it comes to not knowing where the
CZW Mark.
boundaries. Yeah, exactly. Not knowing where the boundaries are.
Yeah.
In a sense, between him and his interaction with Mick Foley. Before he was signed to the WWE.
Okay, that's true.
So with that whole interaction that happened there, like that was a big Twitter fight between them. To have that in the back of the mind, and now he's in the WWE and he's getting all over and everything, and it's just like he needs to publicly come out and say, "I'm sorry for what I said."
He kind of did.
He kind of did, but it's just like
Him and Mick shook hands.
Yeah, I don't know.
And of course, and don't get me wrong, of course I'm a huge Mick Foley mark. I grew up in the goddamn Attitude Era. But I think he does sometimes have an issue of where his character begins or where his character ends and he begins.
But when you make fun of someone's family,
okay, yeah, that was.
And his kids.
Okay, so
I'm
what's so different?
I'm a father, and that's
fair enough. I'm married.
I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
That's true. I don't think that was okay. And Mick Foley did talk about. He actually at one point did sit down with Ambrose, and was like, "Hey, that wasn't fucking cool." And he did say Ambrose did apologize profusely.
Yeah. Still, it's just that always is in the back of my mind, right? And it's just like he is good, but then there's that line that needs to be drawn, or I don't know. It's just like
he seems to be doing okay with that line now, though.
What's that?
He seems to be doing okay now, though.
Yeah.
With that.
Mm-hmm. But I like Ambrose overall, though. I just think he's the second best member out of the Shield. He was the mic. He was the man that needed to be on the mic, though, for the Shield.
He absolutely was, because it obviously you can work on Reigns, but he couldn't go around Rollins. And Rollins isn't. That's nothing against Rollins' mic skills, because Rollins is good on the mic too. But yeah. Ambrose has that special. He just has it,
Mm-hmm.
Like, pick up a microphone, let that dude talk, and you're done.
Yeah. And I think and honestly, I think the other reason when it comes to Ambrose and me not being a big fan of him is the fact that he held the United States title with only defending it 3 times, and he's the longest reigning champion of that title.
I think you can blame him for that, though. As much as you can Kevin Dunn, Vince, and Triple H.
No, I know. Well, I know. You can blame Triple H for it, but overall, I give the match, like I said, a 6. Yeah. What'd you give it again?
5, just because I just didn't think they did all they could with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll talk about what it builds to at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Okay, so after that we had the Undertaker's music hit, and out comes the Druids with the torches. And if you've never seen an opening like this, it is great to check out once in a while. You can the third match he had with Kane at WrestleMania, or second, when Undertaker became the Dead Man again. Do you remember which WrestleMania that was? It was WrestleMania Goes Hollywood.
Yeah, 21, 23. One of those two.
It's really cool to watch, and normally out comes the Undertaker in the trench coat. Well, this time out comes a coffin. They wheel out the coffin. They open the coffin. Pops up Bray Wyatt. If you've been watching Raw the past couple weeks, you know that he's been making speeches about not being afraid anymore of death and blah blah blah. Basically talking about the Undertaker, right?
Yeah.
And then Bray Wyatt cuts a great promo because he can.
Mm-hmm.
Great on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
Cut the promo about the Undertaker, lays back down in the coffin, they close the coffin, and they wheel him out. Face everybody out in the arena, quote unquote. I was actually watching with Andrew, the other Andrew from A Squared, and I go, "That's Bray Wyatt." And he's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I wanted to see the Undertaker." I was like, "I know, but that's Bray Wyatt." He watches maybe 2 or 3 events a year, and they're always with me.
Oh.
One of them being WrestleMania, and the other being Royal Rumble, and like a couple random pay-per-views. And he's like, "I wanted to be the Undertaker." I'm like, "It's not. It's Bray Wyatt." It was a good segment. Rumor has it that Taker's not going to show up till Mania and just face Wyatt. I have no streak gone with the streak, and the Mystique's gone.
Yeah. Agreed. With no streak, there's no alluding to the Undertaker anymore. So.
It's just another match.
Yeah, exactly. And because my stream of the that part cut out due to the WWE's wonderful streaming network, I didn't get to see it. So
That's very, very bad. But
yeah. So now that brings us to Rusev versus John Cena. This was touted to be an all-star battle of Roman athletes, nitty-gritty type match. It was very by the books.
okay, I'm curious about this though, right? So like, this is supposed to be USA versus Russia. Does anybody in any other country give a damn?
No.
Thank you. That's all I've ever needed to know. Okay. Yeah. I always thought that was funny when people would chant like USA in a different country,
Yeah.
or like in other countries around the world watch it. Like, do they fucking care?
Nope. That's why they never had Jack Swagger show up in Canada.
That is a very good point.
Because we, the people, we don't care.
Right? I mean, you'd just be like, no one cares. Get your not affordable healthcare the fuck out of our country.
Exactly. We'd boo the shit out of him and we'd cheer for Rusev. Like, that's exactly why he never showed up.
Oh, I believe it.
That, and he had his marijuana charge and couldn't get across the border, but that's a different reason.
Yeah, fucking...
The WWE did not want to ruin his We the People by bringing him to Canada, because they knew we'd shit all over it, because we don't care about the United States title, we don't care about America versus whoever, we don't care with the petty, we're the superior country shit. We don't.
Yeah,
we never have.
None of that matters.
The only time we did care is when Bret Hart did it with the Hart Foundation.
And Michael, and he was cheered in Canada, booed in America. It was fucking brilliant.
Mm-hmm. So the whole Rusev John Cena thing, again, like I said, was by the books. I just don't see people being beat by the FU, or sorry, the AA. Especially someone like Rusev. Someone like Rusev being picked up and dumped. It just doesn't seem like he would have to be beaten that way, because it's no different than a backdrop. It's not like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's by no means adding anything spectacular to a fireman. It's a standing fireman's carry. I amateur wrestled for 12 years. Do you know how many people I threw in a standing fireman's carry? It was a lot.
4.
More than 20.
I shake my head, and then you get, like you said, the low blow from Rusev. You get the interference from Lana, the low blow, get him in the accolade, but then you get Super Cena coming out. Gonna break it.
Stand up
tough.
with it.
And it was just like, oh my god, really? Really?
This is why, and I said it, I don't hate John Cena. I will openly admit that, because let's face it, the dude has had some great matches, very quality matches actually. him and Punk at Night of Champions is one of my all-time favorites of any match. Do you remember that match?
Yeah, Punk carried that.
Punk may have carried it, but John Cena can still do well enough to make it 5 stars. It's not like Diesel. It's not like Shawn Michaels carrying Diesel. It's at least John Cena does have some athleticism to add to the match.
It's funny that you compare Diesel and John Cena, because I'm pretty sure the two of them had the same amount of moves.
Yeah, it's about right.
Which is 7.
Diesel had what? The power bomb, snake eyes, the boot,
the elbow in the corner,
clothesline,
the overhand punch,
the
sidewalk slam,
earlier.
And the knee.
That's about right.
7 moves of doom, and I'm pretty sure John Cena has the same thing. AA, STF,
right?
His really shitty fucking arm drag.
Oh my god, yeah. He's got the shoulder tackles.
Shoulder tackle, the you can't see me.
Yeah.
The jump off the top rope leg drop.
Yes.
And his punching.
Yeah. He does once in a while bust out the sit-out powerbomb.
Okay, so that's 8. He's got 8 moves of doom.
He nails that sit-out powerbomb every time, though. That's actually... I have to admit, I really do like his sit-out powerbomb.
He has 8 moves.
Yeah.
8 moves. And
okay.
He is almost a 15-time World Heavyweight Champion.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. You're not going to put John Cena up there with Hulk Hogan.
I absolutely am. Hulk Hogan had charisma. He had 4 moves and charisma.
No.
Come on, you're telling me he didn't? You look back at Hogan, his best matches were
Hogan
him versus Macho Man, which
Hogan
Macho Man
versus Sting. Hogan versus Sting. Hogan versus
carried.
Triple H.
Triple H carried that.
Sorry, Hogan. No. Hogan versus DDP. Hogan versus Goldberg.
Okay, but
Hogan versus Rocky Balboa.
His name was Thunderlips, and that was Rocky 3. Thank you very much.
Sorry,
yes,
Hogan versus Sly Stallone. I'm still saying Hogan is a lot better, and he's a better actor than John Cena. And it was his
did
charisma.
Not just say that. He was a better actor.
I did.
No fucking way.
I would sit through a Hulk Hogan movie marathon,
Santa Claus
then watch any shitty ass John Cena movie.
Oh my god! Not even the new one he's gonna be in. That's Apatow.
What, the one that I shit in over there in the bathroom, and put a little John Cena face on it and say it's John Cena's new movie?
It's called Trainwreck. It was written and directed by Judd Apatow, the same guy that made Superbad.
So what is it called?
Trainwreck.
That's exactly what the movie is. It's a train wreck.
No fucking way, dude. There's no way in a million years you could ever say Hulk Hogan's the best. Hulk Hogan just acts like Hulk Hogan and everything. Have you seen Thunder in Paradise?
Yeah, and that was a great...
I own the Thunder in Paradise game.
It's a great movie, and I would still watch that over any John Cena piece of crap.
You look at... Oh, see, this is the same shit that happened when Hogan faced The Rock in Canada. You fucking cheered for Hogan after he tried killing The Rock. Like, he literally tried to run him over with a semi-truck.
I mean, come on. You cannot deny Hollywood Hulk Hogan, fighting Jay Leno. I mean, come on. That's gold. That is gold.
Oh, my God.
Who's John Cena ever going to fight? He's got no balls to fight Jay Leno.
Jay Leno, oh my god. The best part of that, and I cannot find this clip anywhere, is Jay Leno's getting trained by Dean Malenko, right?
Yep.
Do you remember this?
Yep.
And then they put the wig on Malenko, and they have him go to the top rope and do the shooting star press in a Jay Leno wig.
Yep.
Best goddamn moment ever. I cannot find that anywhere.
I know. I'm pretty sure it's on the Jay Leno show. Like if you look up the Tonight Show or whatever, it's on some old clips of that, but you have to find that.
Yes.
I don't think it was a WCW thing.
That was something that got VHS tape traded between wrestling fans for years.
I'm positive it was like a Tonight Show. They filmed it and then gave it to WCW, and then WCW never showed it. But it was like they showed, oh yeah, I'm gearing up to fight Hulk Hogan at whatever pay-per-view it was, and here's some of my training. So make sure you tune in Saturday or Sunday to watch me beat up this balding old man. When you're filming the Marine and you get taken out for the Miz, probably means your acting career's in the hole.
Yeah, that's probably true.
John Cena sucks. Anyways, back to Rusev versus John Cena.
Oh my god. So much John Cena hate.
He acts as Mr. Super Cena and doesn't...
He lifts Rusev right.
Doesn't get out and loses to Rusev cleanly.
Cleanly, yes. I love it. You fucking Canadians. This dude's a way over babyface. Fuck him.
You know,
he sucks.
Rusev beat him cleanly, 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring, made him tap out like the little bitch he is, and yes, he went off to, he'll go off to do better things, and hopefully John Cena goes back, gets shipped down to NXT where he belongs.
Yeah, there's no denying he still needs more training, but yes. So
maybe he could take team with Mr. Believe.
Oh fuck, dude! I still feel bad for Bo Dallas. I really do. The kid can wrestle, and he's annoying. He would have been a good heel.
Would have been a great heel, but Rusev, John Cena. Up to the whole ending of the match, I'd have to give it a 7-ish, maybe a 6.5.
Yeah, it was wrestled by numbers. You know, like paint by numbers, like Blue won. Yeah.
It's pretty much like every John Cena match.
True. Once in a while, somebody will elevate him to have something great.
Yep. And and I won't deny that there are some people who will make John Cena better in the ring, but it's because of them.
Yeah. You know, shockingly, The Miz.
Yes.
Him and The Miz have had some great fucking matches.
The Miz and John Cena at WrestleMania.
Great match, right?
That was an amazing match.
Super underrated.
I don't know why people shit all over The Miz. He's a good wrestler.
I don't get it either. It must be the reality star thing.
I don't know. I like him. I always thought he was good. I like that whole persona. I like that whole when he was the heavyweight champion and up against John Cena. I thought that was a great feud. It deserved the limelight that it got, and it should have been kept going. I mean, who beats John Cena as champion at WrestleMania?
No one. No one.
Yeah. So what would you give this match?
It was great. Out of 10. So I would give that match like a 6.5 out of 10. Again, it was just a wrestle by numbers match, nothing too exciting. It obviously is trying to set up for Cena versus Rusev at Mania.
And I hope to God that that's better than this one. So,
we'll see.
Yeah, we were both wrong. We both said Cena was going to win. Man, were we wrong?
Yeah, I thought he was going to win by DQ, but
yep, he would have if the ref turned around. But whatever. Rusev won cleanly. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
So that brings us to a main event.
Yeah. Fucking main event.
Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns for the #1 contendership at WrestleMania.
The best singles match Reigns has ever had and might ever have
was against a pillow when he was 4. But this, on the other hand, Bryan was able to make him a little bit better. I thought the match was good. Wasn't great. You know, on
No,
my
it was by
radar, I'd have to give it a 7. It just wasn't what I thought it was. The finish wasn't what I thought it was. I thought it could have been way stronger than how they booked it. No.
Okay. So, okay. I can't believe they had Reigns take Bryan's finisher and kick out of it. The thing that knocked Batista out last year, right?
Yep.
And had him kick out of it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a 2.5 or a 2.9 count. It was like 1, 2 kick out, which was a terrible set.
Yeah.
Reigns is worse than John Cena. I said it.
Ooh, no, he didn't.
You may have hate for John Cena, but Reigns is the worst version of him. He really is. He only has about 5 moons, including the Scream. And he can't. He has no mic skills. He can say "believe that."
And suffering succotash.
I can't believe they did that. I still can't believe they fucking did that shit. That was way to endear him to the fans, Vince.
Yep. But anyways, yeah, I totally agree with you. It's just he's lost in translation.
And they didn't do enough to distance him from the Shield. Same music, same ring gear.
Yeah.
The Shield was over not because of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was over because of the Shield.
Yep. Agreed. I'm not disagreeing with you on this point. I think, yeah.
I know it.
I liked Roman Reigns as a group, as a tag team. Not a big fan of him as a single wrestler. Like I said. Sorry?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like I
bad,
said during Royal Rumble, in my fantasy booking, I would have booked it different. Would have booked him stronger. Certainly would not have booked him to give up his championship in this. Would have had some sort of like skills competition or some sort of arm wrestling bullshit type thing with Brock Lesnar, or a face-to-face encounter with Brock Lesnar to sell WrestleMania if he's not in a match in Fastlane, or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, there was a lot of mistakes that they made. Okay, in the past, I don't know, I would say 5 to 10 years, generically over wrestlers. How many have there been? Like realistically, Punk,
John Cena,
Bryan,
John Cena,
Cena. Well, generically over, like over with the fans, just
over with the fans. Okay.
not forced over.
Oh, okay. So CM Punk,
Bryan. Cesaro was super over there for a while with the swing.
Jack Swagger was.
Swagger was super over for a while there. And Ziggler. And Zack Ryder. These were guys that weren't supposed to get over, right?
Yep.
Prior to that, the generic over wrestlers were like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yes.
Not initially supposed to get over. Kind of the same with The Rock, too, when you think about it. It wasn't before they threw him in the Nation of Domination and handed him a microphone.
Yes.
So now they're going back to the route of it feels like the 80s again. The person that's going to be over is the person that we want you to love.
Yes.
Right? So we're going from John Cena, but of course instead of John Cena dropping the title, it's Brock Lesnar. We're going from John Cena, as like I said, it's Hulk Hogan, to Roman Reigns, Ultimate Warrior.
No.
That's kind of what it feels like.
No, I wouldn't put them in the same boat.
But
because it's not John Cena versus Roman Reigns.
Yeah, but I mean, Brock just feels like he's a placeholder now. To me,
Right now he does after walking out on Raw, of course.
Well, in general, actually, ever since he won the title, that's how I feel part timers when they brought The Rock back and they threw the title on him. You knew it was just
Which
there.
was a bad move on my.
Yeah,
I thought that was stupid.
it was a very bad move. And I agree, and I think it's wrong in general to have that title on part timers.
Mm-hmm.
It in MMA, it's a term called freak show fight.
Yeah.
So that's what it just feels like to me. And then, but man, I can't. It's hard to put into words how bad the WWE just seems to dislike their main fans, their core fans, the ones that have stuck with them for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That Vince McMahon treats the internet wrestling fans as the redheaded stepchild.
Even though we're the ones that statistically spend more money.
Yep.
Because we're lifetime fans.
You have the toys, you have the posters, the magazines, the books, the video games, the hats, the underwear,
The ticket sales.
the ticket stubs, you have the pictures, you have the signed autographs, you go to see the old wrestlers when they're put out to the pasture, you buy stupid John Cena crap over and over and over again. Yeah, you guys are the marks. That's the way it is. And the biggest fans. But Vince McMahon doesn't give a shit.
No, he doesn't. So he doesn't listen to those fans. What he cares about, and I've said this on Twitter, I always live tweet the events. And man, do people really start to hate me on Twitter when I live tweet these events. When it comes down to it, Reigns doesn't have rep skill. He doesn't have mic skill. He doesn't even really have charisma. What Reigns has is mother-daughter appeal. So you get the dads and their sons going. Their dads who are kind of forced to be there with their young sons who love John Cena and just want to see the good guy win. But the moms aren't attracted to John Cena because, I don't know, he's got a huge head and his juice to his eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then out comes Roman Reigns. Very handsome Samoan man. Of course the women are going to love him. He's brand new. He's never had a heel, or he's never really had, like, too much time to be hated like Randy Orton or liked like Randy Orton. Because that's another guy that has the mother-daughter appeal, except for he can actually wrestle. And I think that's all Vince cares about now.
Yeah.
So instead of building what should be the mother-daughter appeal, which is the divas,
Yep.
he just puts a handsome guy out there.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, if you were given a chance to book this main event, because we're going to go right into our fantasy booking time right now, if you were given a chance to book this match, how would you have booked it?
I would have had Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns just beat the ever-loving shit out of each other. Just down and dirty style fight. They both hit their finishers. It looks bad. It looks gruesome. They try to get up from a 10 count, and they both get up, and they're super staggery. Boom, Brock Lesnar's music hits. Out comes Brock Lesnar, F5, double DQ, sets up triple threat match at WrestleMania. This way, you keep the guy that you call the Beast Incarnate, the guy that you had take Undertaker's streak, still looks strong when he loses the title at Mania because he doesn't get pinned.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else does. That's how I would book it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty good. For me, if I were to book this, it would have been this. Again, the match itself was good, but
Yeah.
I would not have had Daniel Bryan hit his finisher. What would have happened is the Superman punch and the flying knee both connect. at the same time with
Okay.
each other. They're both down. Both down. They're laying there. Referee counts 1, 2, gets to almost 10, and then you have Reigns just barely get up. Just barely. Kind of like the finish to Rocky 2.
Okay.
You pull that, and then you pull, he was just barely able to get up, just narrowly beating Daniel Bryan.
The 10 count.
Right? And just barely beating that. And that's it. He barely gets up. The referee calls for the bell and just says, screw it, it's done, because both these guys, there's no way they can continue. Right?
Yeah.
Kind of like almost like a double DQ, but kind of gives it to Roman Reigns.
Right.
Or during the match, you have Daniel Bryan grab the mic and said, this is going to be a last man standing match.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of throw a swerve into it, and then you do that, and that's how you win. 1, 2, 3. Or not 1, 2, 3, but a count of 10 beats the count. There it is. Then you have your person go off to WrestleMania exactly how you wanted to, and you continue to bury Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, that would have been a lot better instead of a single fucking spear to a 1, 2, 3 count.
Yeah, I think what would have sold me on that spear though is if Daniel Bryan came off the top ropes.
That would have been a lot cooler.
If he came off the top ropes and he was speared and then beaten, I would have felt better about that.
Yeah. I mean, I get that it was supposed to be him running and the forward momentum, him running and the spear was supposed to knock him down, but...
Well, compare that spear that Goldberg did to Christian and pretty much killed him.
Or to Chris Jericho in WCW on the ramp.
Yeah. Those didn't involve people running. Those are how spears should be done.
Goldberg's spears always looked like he was going to fold somebody in half.
Yeah, not the way that Roman Reigns does it, not the way that Christian does it, not even the way that Edge does it. I mean, you just don't sell me on those spears. The Gore from Rhino, who just returned to NXT, and Goldberg.
Yeah, definitely. Those are some good spears. I always thought it was dumb giving Reigns the spear. I always thought the Superman punch should have been his finish.
Yeah.
There's a lot of issues I have with this, namely the main event of WrestleMania now.
Yeah.
That is gonna get booed like WrestleMania 20.
Yes.
Brock versus Goldberg.
Yep.
A match so hated by the IWC 11 years ago that they had to put Stone Cold Steve Austin in as a special guest referee to quell people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was awful. First of all, that match is not very good.
Well, that's due to Brock Lesnar.
Yes, Brock Lesnar cannot have a good match with somebody unless that guy is just as good as him, if not better.
Or is willing to lose to him.
Yes.
Lesnar knew he wasn't going to be put over in that match. He didn't give a shit. He's leaving. He's not winning. He doesn't care. He's going to do whatever it takes and take the easy street.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen with Reigns. I think he's going to sandbag the fuck out of Reigns because I think Brock Lesnar wants to go back to the UFC.
Yep.
Dana White is throwing so much money at Brock Lesnar right now.
Yep.
Because they're not losing money.
No.
Right? The UFC's stock is on a constant incline.
And with the addition of CM Punk and that buzz, that really helped them.
Yeah. And then people started buying stock again, and it was really interesting. So the UFC wants Brock back. Highest draw in UFC history. Him and George St. Pierre.
Yep.
Another Canadian.
And Brock Lesnar owns property in Winnipeg, Manitoba, which is Canada.
Well, he has a dual citizenship now, I believe.
Yeah, because he wants to be Canadian.
Yeah. So
that'd be great if he went and trained in the Heart Dungeon.
That would be funny. He actually offered to help train with CM Punk for MMA. Help train his wrestling.
Yeah, that's
which is
awesome.
Actually, I would have taken that advice. Brock Lesnar is one of the greatest amateur wrestlers in college ever.
By far. Exactly.
So I think, and this is honestly my hope, and I told you this before we started the podcast, I hope he sandbags him.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he's just like, go fuck yourself, Vince. Like, I came back to help you, and he walked out due to the common belief now is that he's not making. They tried to lowball him to extend his contract with WWE, which, I mean, it's Brock Lesnar. He can make money wherever he wants to go, right?
Mm-hmm. I thought it was always a paid performance now.
It is a paid performance, but he gets a percentage of the pay-per-view buys from WrestleMania.
All right.
So they tried to lowball that since the network's not doing as well as they thought it would be by this time this year.
Mm-hmm.
So he left. Fuck you guys, I'm out.
Yeah.
So if he wants to, finish out his dates that lead up to WrestleMania, because I think he's gone. I think his contract's up at the end of April.
I thought he didn't have any. I thought it was just like every performance from, I think, February has been like, we'll pay you X amount of dollars per performance because we used up all your dates.
Oh, yeah, they did. That's right. No, you're right.
Right? And that's why
so
for him to walk out on Monday night, I'm like, he might not come back.
And there's still no resolution to that as of, well, I read it an hour ago.
Yeah. So I thought his contract was up, and now he's on a pay per appearance.
He is.
Yeah. So that's what happens when you give your title to a part-timer, Vince.
That you pay a shitload of money.
Who doesn't have heart for the business.
No, he doesn't have heart for the business. Jim Cornette says it all the time. Brock Lesnar doesn't give a fuck about the business.
Nope. See, now, if you gave CM Punk that, I don't think you'd have this issue.
We wouldn't be in the same issue if they would have let CM Punk just fucking main event one WrestleMania like he deserves.
Yeah.
But, so, somebody actually brought up, I was talking to them about it, they brought up a really interesting idea. They're like, what if Brock Lesnar does walk out? Just fuck you, I'm not doing WrestleMania then. I was like, I'd like to see a tournament like WrestleMania, I think it was 8. A one-night tournament that could ultimately lead to Reigns versus Bryan.
Yep.
And then have Seth Rollins cash in.
Yep. Well, we already know in my books, when we do our predictions for WrestleMania, I'm pretty much saying Seth Rollins cashes in against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania and wins.
Yeah, I doubt I'm going to disagree with you on that one. I think that's what's going to happen.
But we'll see, because of the whole controversy with Seth Rollins. They said he's not going to win the title till June, so that pushes that back.
That would be really dumb if they don't let him win that title till June, because they can't. Orton's not going to sell pay-per-views.
Not against Roman Reigns.
No, he's not going to get. Or, I mean, Reigns isn't going to sell pay-per-views. He's not going to get subscriptions.
No.
Rollins will, because people are going to want to see Rollins get his ass kicked.
Yep. Oh, agreed.
I don't know.
So, April, May, June. So we're looking at WWE Payback when he cashes in, which is 1 month before the next Money in the Bank.
Yeah. I hope they bring the Chamber back.
So, but yeah, hey, after WrestleMania, it's Extreme Rules. You know how that's exciting.
I would say Extreme Rules does have at least one good match in it a year. Right?
I'll have to watch the old ones. I don't remember.
That actually, I think Extreme Rules, one of them has a really underrated John Cena match. John versus Brock. The first time with Brock back. Where Brock busts John Cena open with that elbow. Like, legit busts him. Hard shots him.
And John Cena won because
he AAs him on the stairs, and hits him with the chain. He punches him with the chain in the face and then AAs him on the stairs. But that's besides the point. It's still a good match.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I have to give the main event, like I said, 6.
Yeah, Yeah, 5.5. That single shot spear pin fucking killed me. Like
Yeah.
it killed part of my soul. Like, I was just like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So overall, the pay-per-view,
not good.
not good. It was not a worthy choice
Like,
in
and
my eyes.
yeah, that was the one they used to replace Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
And I like Elimination Chamber every year.
Mm-hmm.
That's an exciting pay-per-view. Even when they used it, No Way Out, I think was when they first started using it.
Yeah.
And that was, the Chamber was, what, Bischoff's brainchild, wasn't it?
Yes.
See, man, Eric Bischoff has some great ideas. They just needed to, they should have just kept him on the payroll at WWE.
But yeah, so not a very good matchup, not a very good pay-per-view. The following Raw wasn't that great either. Really didn't do anything to build anything. And the runoff, I mean, you had no Brock Lesnar. You have some weird intercontinental bullshit with people who, you know, R-Truth, Ziggler, Bad News Barrett, and Ambrose.
And now Bryan's being added to that on SmackDown, apparently.
Bryan is being added to that on SmackDown, and it's like, so they're gonna have like some 6-way ladder match for the Intercontinental title, and not be part of the, as they announced, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which has the Miz in it. You had a shitty payoff for the Divas title on Raw.
Well,
Juvenile writing for that.
very much so.
You have AJ tweeting, "Give the Divas a chance," and calling out Vince McMahon
And Stephanie.
and then both of them saying "in due time" or "it's coming" or whatever. I don't see that happening whatsoever.
Me neither.
Unless you get talent like Angelina Love, Sarah Del Rey, Paige, Charlotte,
Yep.
Natalia, Sasha Banks, AJ Lee, Bayley, and you bring them up, and I'm saying like Angelina Love out of TNA, former TNA, Madison Rayne, Taylor Wilde, another very excellent Canadian wrestler, female wrestler. You know, Angelina Love, Canadian. You know, you have, you know, those 10 individuals there. That would bulk up and make your women's division better, in my opinion. But if you if you don't have people like that, you're going to be swimming around with Nikki and Brie Bella and shitty storylines by someone with a crayon. I don't know.
Oh my god.
You have shitty Randy Orton coming back and taking the spotlight for the main event.
You know what? I get a lot of hate for disliking Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But I've honestly... He can wrestle, but he just so gets into this, like, I'm just going to do the same thing over and over again. Attitude is what it seems like, and I can't stand that, dude. I made a joke one day, this was again on Twitter, that Randy Orton is as stale as a Quickie Mart bagel, which is an obscure Simpsons reference where Krusty's like, coconut bagel, and he's like, my bagels are just week-old donuts.
Simpsons, Canadian.
Yes. And I probably got 400 messages about how I was a fat idiot for thinking Randy Orton wasn't good. And I was like, well, goddamn. A lot of people love Randy Orton.
Yeah, I agree with you. He is stale as a bagel, but that's due to the fact of all the matches he had with John Cena. So, what? 65
no.
matches since the start?
Okay, yes. That is too much. That was way too much. But that was the time when the only two people that were popular in WWE, according to Vince, were John Cena and Randy Orton.
That was right up till Brock Lesnar came.
I know. I said, according to Vince.
So, yeah, I don't know.
I'm not saying it's true.
So Raw was a blow-off. It wasn't a great follow-up to a pay-per-view. Usually the Raw following a pay-per-view is amazing, especially WrestleManias. Always the best to watch if you ever get to go to a Raw or watch Raw. Always the one after pay-per-view or always the most exciting. This one was not whatsoever.
It was terrible.
Yeah, so overall, pay-per-view was less than subpar. Raw afterwards was... Again, all over the place. SmackDown, from what I read, we'll see. I can't care about any. I have such apathy right now. I'm just like, And yeah, so that brings us to 5 weeks away, 4 weeks now from WrestleMania. The build-up so far is Sting versus Triple H and main event of Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar and the Andre the Giant Battle Royale with The Miz entered. It's not a lot of build-up. Long way to go. Exciting to see what's going to happen with the Brock Lesnar situation. But that should not be your wrestling. Is excited to see what's happening with a guy who's not there behind the scenes. Yeah. But you're more excited to hear and read about that than to actually watch the show. So yeah.
Oh fuck. You know what? Fuck it. WrestleMania 31 main event: Sting versus Triple H. It should just happen.
Oh, I don't know. I think Shawn Michaels needs to come out of retirement. Shawn Michaels versus Daniel Bryan.
For the main event of 31. I wish that was a thing.
Yep. I'd pay to see it.
Oh, me too. But that's not going to fucking happen.
Nope.
So I'd rather see Sting versus Triple H than fucking Reigns versus Lesnar as the main event.
Oh, of course. But yeah, so that brings us to the end of our Fastlane and the Raw. Wasn't much to talk about Raw. Like I said, subpar. I don't think there's anything else to talk about.
Nope. I think we're good. I think we covered the anger and the
frustration.
Yeah, it's frustration at this point. Is really what it is.
Exactly. So, I guess make sure you follow the Console Xplosions Wrestling Podcast on www.theconsolexplosion.com. Check us out. We have all your gaming and geek news. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. If you have any suggestions for the show or you want to take part in the show, shoot us an email or write us a message down there in the comments. It doesn't matter. But yeah, like an angry Brock Lesnar, my name's Kaztech. Goodbye.
Later.
Is that all? You don't have anything to...
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
Fucking frustrated as shit.
You don't want to talk about, hey, check out A Squared Reviews.
Well, of course, check out A Squared Reviews. On the Console Explosion,
on the Console Explosion. And
I should hopefully be getting a couple more reviews up. I've been lazy, or not lazy, I've been in class, so give me a little bit on that. Other than that, just tweet at Vince McMahon and WWE. Express disgust.
Exactly. So again, this has been the Console Explosion Wrestling Podcast. Thank you for listening. And yeah, I guess ring the bell.
1, 2, 3.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Elise, and you're watching the Console Explosion.